YouTubers, Rocky Mountain Wanderer here. Just wanted to go over my automatic jigging machine for ice fishing. I'm not much of an ice fisherman. I do it whenever I can, as much as I can, but there's some hardcore people out there that do it every weekend. I don't have that luxury. I wish I did. But what I do like to do is tinker, especially in the wintertime. It gets dark at, what is it? It's 5 o'clock. It was dark about half an hour ago outside, so thankfully I have a shop that I can work in and tinker. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to build one of these things and make some videos on how I figured it out. I will be figuring this out as I make these videos, so if I say something out of line, go ahead and leave comments, let me know. Don't be jerks, just let me know if I said something out of line, because it's going to help me and hopefully other YouTubers watching my video. Obviously the only way to tinker is if you're having a nice cold Coors with your tinkering. So here's to all you Coors drinkers, heck, beer drinkers. Anyways, so this is a windshield wiper motor that I bought for my ice fishing, or my jigging machine. One thing that a lot of the videos didn't show is how they decided to buy a windshield wiper, which one they decided to buy, so on and so forth. So I was like, alright, well I'll just find the cheapest one I can and buy it. This one was off like a little Mazda car. I got it off eBay for 20 bucks, which is cheap. It's got a little busted piece right there. Whatever. It's still got 2 of the holding brackets there, and that should be fine. The only thing I wish I would have noticed is this part right here is not a bolt or nut or stud or whatever you want to call it. I wish I would have found one that had threads right here because of how I've got to make this jigging machine. So what I'm going to have to do is grind this off, get a bolt on there. Not a big deal, just would have been nice to save that step. The other thing is, so this, when I got it, it's a 5-wire windshield wiper motor. Some of you guys are like, so what's that matter? Well, for me, when I got it, I was like trying to figure out what each of these wires are for. Took me a minute because this black wire right here confused me. It shouldn't have, but it did. Anyways, so it confused me. I'll get to that point here in a minute. So when I bought it, it had this plug on it and didn't need that, so I cut it off and it goes in on the floor. It goes on the floor, not in the trash. So these 2 wires and this blue wire are the main wires that you have to worry about. When I first got this, I hooked this black wire up to my negative post on my battery. Nothing worked. Obviously, nothing worked. This black wire is only to ground it to the vehicle. Ground the whole thing to the vehicle. That's all it's for. So in this situation, we will not need this. This is null and void, don't need it at all. But I left it on here so that I could explain that to you. This blue and white wire, I don't need it. It could be handy if somebody wanted to use the park inside of this. So this is a park switch, from what I've gathered. And what that does is when your windshield wipers are going, it parks it, and then it goes again, parks it, and goes again. So it's, it's whenever your windshield wipers stop. That's what this switch is for. So wiring, putting this, including this into the whole wiring system is going to help it, or that's what, not help it, but that's what it's going to do. It's going to add that park assist, whatever it's called. But I've got other ways of doing that, so I do not need this. and other ways I will show you in other videos when I get there. So essentially, when it all comes down to the brass tacks, these 3 wires are what you need. Let me leave that one hooked in there because it doesn't work without it going through there for some reason. I'm going to work on that because I don't really need to be hooked into there, but it is what it is. Anyways, so when I first got this, I took the housing off of this motor. When I couldn't get it to work, I took this off and was able to see the inside bushings and why my motor wouldn't work, and obviously it was because my brain was not working. So I'm just going to pop these screws out of here. So, inside of here, and hopefully you guys can see, let me adjust my camera. I don't have some hot camera chick running my camera for me, so I gotta do it myself. Come on, focus. There we go. Alright, so I'm doing this from behind the camera. So you have your yellow wire that comes into this bushing, your red wire that comes into this bushing, blue wire that comes into this bushing. Focus. There we go. It's a little better. All that is, so this is your common, the blue wire is your common. Red, I might be wrong, but I think red is your high speed, yellow is your low speed. Doesn't make a lot of difference. Set this down here. Oh look, it focused for me there. Doesn't make a lot of difference in this application. I mean, what we're doing with this, we're totally changing what this windshield wiper's for. So yeah, just so you know what the internal looks like, that's why I did that. Questions about that, just shoot them my way. If I can answer them, I will. If not, I will do the research and try and answer them anyways. Because like I said, this is, for me, tinkering. This is something I do for the fun of it. Last year I built myself an ice fishing hut. Because I was like, I want to be warm when I ice fish. So, I built myself one. Maybe I'll show you a video, do a video of that here sometime, but I just want to put this back together so that it'll work. The motor will not turn if this is off. So you guys are aware, it does not turn with that housing off of it. Alright, so I'm going to bring my red wires and blue wire. Black wire is going away, don't even need that. Alright, so without knowing all that, I've got a wire right here hooked to my negative on my battery. This is just scrap wire that I grabbed real quick, so it's stripped pretty long, but it don't matter. Okay, so I got my common hooked up. Make sure you can see that in the camera. There, you can kind of see my common hooked up, or negative from my battery. I'm using a pretty big battery right now, and it's not the one I will be using for my unit, but it's the one I had right here, so I grabbed it. Alright, so we got our red Just gonna hook up to that. And she goes round and round and round. She's whining a little bit. I'm guessing that I'm probably gonna have to get a different motor someday, but oh well. And then my yellow. Slower, so I was right. Red is fast, yellow is slow. Now, one video I saw, a guy did hook his negative, and I'm gonna do this up to one of these, to the red or the yellow. I'm not gonna do this for very long because I tried this once and the motor whined at me, so I didn't like it. But when you hook them up like this, it goes super fast. Like that, which I don't really need for what I'm doing. Fish, probably scare the fish away more than it would attract them. The other thing you can do is if you hook your negative up to your yellow, if you put this thing in the other way or need it to go the other way, you can hook it the other way. It doesn't matter. Or red goes faster. So that's not going to hurt as much as I don't know if it hurts, but hooking these negative, positive, I just didn't like what it made my motor do. So yeah, that's the windshield wiper motor for this jigging machine. And hopefully that gives you guys some good knowledge on it. It's pretty layman's term knowledge. Didn't get into like the full names of everything, but again, like I said, you have questions, comments, shoot them out to me. I'd love to know more, and if you know a lot more about windshield wipers, let me know, and that'll give me more knowledge to share with the next people. Alright, thanks guys. Rocky Mountain Wanderer out.